What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Before the Promised Neverland Season 2. This is episode 8, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
I mean, honestly, I don't even know where they're taking Norman's character with this one, even, assuming if this is where...
I mean, we got a good idea where they were going to take him in the last episode. Like, they were... It was pretty obvious they were setting him up to be, like, a villain character. There's just so many parallels that can be drawn to, like, you know, a character like Eren Yeager with where they were deciding to take Norman's character. And in this episode, they just really make it just way too obvious. That's where
they're literally trying to hammer the point of like what he's been through during the whole Lambda facility place that he was in.
I mean, they kind of rushed through that too, like, as it's only like a very brief segment, whereas like I did recognize some scenes because there were some, like, okay, so in the manga this originally happens like as in between different chapters in the manga. We'll briefly see what Norm is up to in the Lambda facility. So basically I guess they just took those scenes and put them all in this one segment in the episode and just kind of rushed through his backstory and what he was doing there. And we also get introduced to like who I believe is like the main villain of the series, which is Peter Ratchery, which was the guy who was like talking to him at the end of the last episode. And we also get a reference to James Ratchery, who we don't see at all in the anime, but we only just get this brief reference to him. So I was actually surprised they even brought his name up. Because he hasn't even been brought up at all, as far as I know, until this point.
It just pretty much, this sequence just shows like what Norman like goes through. He's been taking like these, these difficult tests that he manages to ace like easily, and then and in different segments, like he communicates with like the different kids like stuck in that facility, particularly like. Trying to remember their names. It's just
one was Vincent, Barbara.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other two.
Yeah, I mean, we see them like go through like these almost like torturous procedures like that they're having to go through, and and then of course like eventually like over time Norman like gets materials snuck into his room to make it into some kind of bomb. Then they somehow managed to like...
I didn't even pick up on that, to be honest. Like, I didn't even know how he made the bomb, where, like, I mean, at least it wasn't obvious, like, how he even created the bomb in the first place.
I mean,
because we only see him, like, hold up a chess piece of a knight, and then we see an explosion. And, I mean, I saw, like, they brought a fork into his room, which, honestly, I thought was kind of dumb, like, because it's like a real, like, it's not a plastic fork. So if Norman wanted to like kill himself, he could use that fork to do so. So I thought that was kind of dumb. But yeah, like I didn't even realize that that's what, like, apparently what he was using to create the bomb.
Yeah, I mean, but eventually, like, he does manage to, him and the others like to get out of that facility, and then of course, it also hammers the point like that the reason why he's rushing through his plan so quickly is because he's also dying from whatever procedure that he's gone through, like with him like suffering through seizures and then like coughing up blood, and then admitting that he doesn't have much time left and he feels like he needs to I guess follow up with this plan so he can have like Emma, Ray, and the others like live a happy life, because apparently like, he's just like he wants to bear the sins for himself, I guess. But then pretty much...
Yeah, the more you think about it, the more parallels I think you can draw between like Eren and Norman at this point, especially considering him having a limited amount of time left, shouldering all the sins of everybody, becoming like a demon, essentially, because he even says like, I'll become a demon or something like that in this episode.
Then, of course, the next several minutes, it just like, supposedly like... Emma, Ray, and the others are looking for Sandra and Mujika. They were given like 5 days to look for them. They blasted through like 4 days, like within like I think like 10 minutes of this episode, just like looking around for them, like looking for tracks. Like
I had so many questions because I was like, how do they know where to look? How do they know where they're going to be? Like, we don't really know. They have a map. I guess maybe they have like the most likely locations they could be, I suppose, on the map. But I mean, they could be anywhere. Like, how? I don't know. Maybe there's something I missed in the last episode where there's some kind of clue they're looking for. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I mean, the scene flips like back and forth between like Norman and the other.
I also wonder like why they're still wearing the masks. Like, they're not in the village anymore. Why are they still wearing the demon masks? Or like, it just like it's a small detail.
I mean, I know
understand.
I think it would be more of a precaution because you can. I mean, if you have to remember, like, there's other demons hunting for them as well. So,
yeah.
And then not to mention, like, their first shelter ended up getting bombed by, whatever the squad is. I guess they were sent by Ratchet or something like that, maybe. But
yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, it's just. But they just like literally blasted it through like 4 days instantaneously, and then all of a sudden, like, Sanju and Mujika end up finding them after, like, this one feral demon ends up chasing them throughout the forest, and they end up saving them.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course, like, the finale of the episode is like, Norman and the others, like, going through their plan like a day early, and then we just literally see just mayhem in the demon village, with like majority of the demons like mutating like into grotesque ways, and then like killing each other. And
yeah, I feel like this was probably one of the better parts of the episode, just because of how disturbing it was. But like, I mean, we see all the demons eating each other, and then they show all the demon children crying. It's I don't know. I felt like it was pretty obvious what they were trying to do. They were trying to make they're trying to make you feel bad for the demon, basically saying, well, the humans are doing something that's just as bad or whatever. But we also have to keep in mind the demons have been eating humans for thousands of years at this point. So I mean, it's like, I get what they were trying to do, but it's like it just feels like I said, it's just kind of unearned. Like, there's not really much build up to this. Like, just like I said in the last episode, we only just got Norman's plan, and in this episode, he's actually carrying out his plan.
Yeah, and of course, like, we also see like that old demon, like we saw like a few episodes ago, and then he just suddenly makes this reappearance, and then he goes to save his granddaughter named Emma. And I
seriously at first thought he was referring, actually talking about Emma, but I was like trying to remember, like, did he even know her name? I don't even think he knew her name. So like, how could he know her? But then, of course, we realized that it's the little demon girl that is named Emma, and I just couldn't help but laugh. I was like at the scene, because I thought it was honestly just very lazy to do something like that. It's people were pointing out in the forums that this reminded them of that scene from Batman v Superman, where like
the whole the Martha scene. Yeah,
save Martha.
It's like Norman is like trying to go up to this little girl demon, and is about to like just pretty much cut her down, and just before like he hears like the old demon call out her name as Emma, and then that's where Norman hesitates. It's like, and then of course Norman tries to kill the old demon, but he finds out afterwards that that old demon has like that special blood that what was it that Mujika has that can prevent like demon mutations.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what this means now. Does this mean that the old man is going to be just as important as a character as Mujika because of his blood?
Now the Emma demon now has the blood that she consumes.
So that's true.
So it's possible that that she could play a part or something. I don't know where this is going.
It seems like they're going with kind of an anime original ending too, because I don't know if this really happens in the manga, because the old man character is anime original. So I have to. I don't know. I guess any manga readers can.
And of course, Emma and the others managed to make it back to the village, like almost in record time. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
We see they get a horse. Like, I mean, would they get like Sanju's horse? But even still, like, we don't really even know how long they've been looking for them and how many. Like, actually, no, we do know how long, but we don't know how far they've traveled. Like, how far have they traveled since they started looking, and how did they manage to travel all the way back in like on the same night, even with the horse? Like, it'd probably cut that time in half, sure, but like, how would they get back there so quickly? It just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, well, as far as I know, we have at least 8, 9, 10, 11. We have about 3 more episodes left, and to me, I don't think there's enough material for there to be like some kind of anime original finale of sorts.
I have no idea. Like, okay, I mean, they're gonna have to even rush even more in the last 3 episodes, because we still have like. I mean, I guess maybe they'll just deal with Norman at the beginning of that episode, and then we still have like Isabella as a villain, and we also have, you know, Peter Ratchery. I mean, are they just going to fight both of them, or like, how are they going to handle that? Like, it's like, I mean, Isabella hasn't even shown up since
they're going to have to justify maybe a 3rd season out of nowhere, but
no.
It's like we're gonna have to. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to say we're gonna have to get a 3rd season of this, because there's not.
I don't feel like they will. Like,
I can't see them like completing this season, like having like some kind of like grand finale, you know, season, like, you know, by the end of this, you know, with just that much material left. Like, they have to make a 3rd season at this point.
Okay, well, we've seen stuff like this happen in the past, though. I mean, you know, obviously the prime example would be like Tokyo Ghoul Re, with how much they've rushed that. I feel like they could do it, but it would be very, very disorganized and just obviously rushed. I think they. Well, okay, I feel like they want to be done with the series. If they want to be done with the series, they're going to finish this out.
Here's the difference between this season and, you know, and Tokyo Ghoul, like, what was it, Route A, whatever that thing was?
Tokyo Ghoul Re, specifically, like the second half of Tokyo Ghoul Re is when they rushed it really bad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, they had enough material just to make at least an additional season, just to, you know, to maybe justify that. But I don't know what they're going through with, you know, with this show. Like,
I just can't see them doing another season. It's because, like I said, it seems like the reason they're rushing so much is because they probably just want this to be the final season. They don't want to do any more Promised Neverland after this. So I don't know why what the incentive would be for another season. I mean, at this point where they're at in the manga, I'm not even sure if they would have enough content to justify another season. But I mean, I could be wrong. Because it seems like they're getting very close to the end of the story. So I don't know.
Unless maybe if it's not a 3rd season, then maybe it's gonna be like an anime original movie sometime later. I don't know what it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I suppose it's possible, but it'd just be such a waste of time. It really would be, because I mean, all the hype that people had for the series when it first came out is just completely dead. People were saying this actually is rated lower than X-Arm, like, which is surprising. And I think it's just because, like, people had high expectations, and then, you know, they expected better of the show, and then it just took a total nosedive. Whereas I guess with X-Arm, like, people already knew it was not gonna be good.
I think X-Arm is just a terrible comparison, in my opinion. Like, it's just,
I think it's just because it's rated lower than X-Arm is why people brought it up. But
I don't know. I think that's just like, I don't know. It's like that's being too complimentary to X-Arm, in my opinion. It's just
I mean, at least Promised Neverland looks good.
Yeah, it still looks good. It's just its storytelling is just thrown by the wayside right now. Yeah,
that's the biggest problem. I mean, but yeah, just this episode was just I mean, definitely the most, I think, probably the most rushed out of all of them so far. From what I could tell, but I mean it did have that, like, you know, that one highlight moment with, like, you know, with the Demon Village being completely destroyed. Yeah. It's just, I mean, that's the one good thing about it. Everything else, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you know, you have to wonder where it's just gonna go now, because Norman is like, you know, he's established himself as like some kind of pseudo villain, and then now he's now faced with the reality of, you know, him with himself, like I don't know, like whether or not
I anticipate the next episode he's just going to do like an immediate heel turn once he realizes what he's done, because it seems like at the end of this episode he's just starting to completely break down once he realizes like what he did exactly, and he'll probably just do a heel turn and he'll be like, I realize I've done wrong, basically, or something like that. He'll probably just you know, ask forgiveness or whatever, and just completely back down, I suppose. It seems like that's the direction it's going, though, based on how this episode ends, which would be really like based on how everything else has been so rushed, that's probably what's going to happen. He's probably not going to stay a villain.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, we got what, 3 more episodes left. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that I feel like, you know, it's gonna be missing by the end of the season, that they're gonna have to, they're gonna try to make up an excuse as to why they're gonna make a season 3 out of this. But
yeah, I guess if anybody wants to get an understanding of just how rushed this has been, I didn't even realize this, but somebody pointed out that the original manga has more chapters than Full Metal Alchemist, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is like 50 some episodes. This is like the first season of this was like 12 to 13, and this season's just like 11 episodes long, and they're trying to end it in this season.
Like, yeah, that's like, this is, I would say this is like the half amount of, you know, episodes than what Full Metal Alchemist has right now. But assuming if they are going to continue this, I don't know. It just feels like whatever story they're telling and whatever's left of this season, they would have to justify maybe a third season sometime later.
I just can't see it happening. Not after how this season turned out, and also just the reaction to it. I mean, I would honestly be shocked if they decided to do another season after this. Yeah, so I just don't have too much else to say about this. I kind of go into every episode with fairly low expectations, so I guess that's why there was at least some good things that I took out of this episode, but everything else.
I mean, it's far from being a disaster right now, but it just seems like it just depends on where, you know, what direction this, you know, the next 3 episodes is going to go to. And I mean, I
guess if you're anime original, you might get some enjoyment out of it. But I mean, I even know some anime original people who are realizing how rushed it is, or it just, you know, they probably at least get the feeling of how rushed this series is, the season 2 is. Yeah, but yeah, I don't have too much else to say about this. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
No, I mean, there was some good and mostly bad stuff about this episode that honestly, I feel like I feel like, you know, they're planning something like, you know, for maybe a possible 3rd season, because like I said, there's just like not enough material to finish off, you know, whatever they introduced in this season, like particularly like Isabella, and then of course they finally introduced Ratchery in this season. Like, it's like they can't, like, and there's no way they can possibly end off like a season off, like, you know, in a cliffhanger manner, like in this way, without having to explore most of the stuff that they just introduced so far.
I mean, we'll see, I guess, because like we still have a conflict technically that is to be resolved. Like, I'm just wondering, okay, so how quickly is the series' main conflict going to be resolved, and how quickly are they even going to like speed through like the epilogue portion of the story too, because they have to do all that in 3 episodes. So I'm just wondering, I'm just very interested if they are not doing another season. But if they are, then I mean, that would just be even more baffling. Either way, I'm just going to be very very interested in how they're going to handle this. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. But yeah, that all being said, until next Thursday, we will see you all next time.